How's it going, everyone? Welcome to this week's Q&A. So like any other week, if you want a chance of one of your questions being answered, make sure you drop a comment down below and I'll try to get to each and every question. So yes, you can see, obviously there's a different car in the garage this week. I just got back from a camping trip with my son. I know somebody's going to ask what happened to the TLX. Nothing happened to it. It's at my dealer. I took a loaner car. I took a Ridgeline to be more appropriate for the situation. So I'll return Ridgeline tomorrow and my car will be back in here next time you guys see this video or whatnot. So again, I knew somebody was going to ask, so I might as well just clarify. If you ask, it's probably because you didn't watch this part of the video. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the first question of the week. And it is, what is the best way to retract or put your rear brake calipers into maintenance mode? So in my personal opinion, the only way to do it is with a scan tool. Obviously at work, we have the Honda Diagnostic System Scan Tool, or the HDS. I personally like to use the Launch X431. Either version 1 or version 2, either one works for Honda or Acura. There's other ones out there that do it as well. So, but that makes make sure that you are doing everything right and safe. So there are ways to do it with, you know, adding the power to retract the motors and stuff like that, power and ground to them. Although oftentimes, if that is done incorrectly, could cause more harm than good, and you're going to create yourself a big mess. If you're a DIYer and you like to do work yourself and you want to do work yourself, do yourself a favor, get the Launch X431. I'll have a link in the description section down below to either one, version 1 or version 2. They're basically the same, just one is a portrait layout, the other one is a landscape layout or whatnot. So either one is good for this purpose of this especially, and it does an abundance of things. I have basically released a video on some of the features that I'm doing with it on a weekly basis on Fridays. So once again, it's like 130 bucks to 150. Sometimes you can find a coupon on them, Black Friday and you know, holidays and stuff like that. They're usually on sale. So if you have one or you want to buy one, add it to your cart, and when you see it on sale, just go ahead and pull the trigger on it. I also post them on Instagram where they are on sale and I find them. They have like flash sales. So when I see one, I'll post it like that. All you guys could, you know, get the benefits from it at the best prices available. So hopefully that answers the question for you. All right, so the next question is about the sticking steering situation. And basically, what is the symptom, or, you know, I'm going to try to describe it to you as best as possible, because some people don't know if they have it or not. And 9 out of 10 times, you're going to know if you actually are having these symptoms, because when you're driving on a highway and you go to make a turn, all of a sudden you just feel like a slight hesitation or the car counter steering it. So it's not drastic, but it is very annoying, I will say. I'll call it that. Now, I had a couple of them since this recall came out, actually people coming to the dealership and, you know, basically having the symptom, and I was able to duplicate it. So at that point, obviously the correct part here to do is replace it. Whether or not you're having a symptom, long term, most likely the chances are that you are going to get the symptom. Also, I'm going to add that this isn't a band-aid fix like some people are suggesting in the comment sections of the videos. I have made multiple videos on the procedures, and as Honda updated them, I updated the video. So I have the latest procedure video in the description section down below. So two things are happening. So there was not enough grease in the worm gear, and obviously that could cause some heating and swelling and stuff like that. And once it goes beyond its size, then it starts to bind and stuff like that. Once it retracts, usually it's okay. So the symptoms are usually after driving it for a while and it produces some heat. Now, in the winter months, if you're in a cold state, maybe it's not as noticeable. Again, I haven't had enough of them to actually yay or nay that theory. Now, also, there is a tension spring that gets changed. Honda has adjusted the spring rate on that. So they have done two things. Not only are we injecting an abundance amount of grease into these racks, to these worm gears, we're also changing the amount of tension that's being applied to that gear. So no, I don't believe it's a band-aid fix. It's not just simply greasing it and Honda's sending it. So Honda did their homework. There's a reason why it took as long as it did to come out with this recall, because obviously they needed to confirm it and really dig into it and see what was going on and find the appropriate repair. So fast forward a couple years, here we are. So Honda's just simply not throwing a band-aid at this. Now, can something else happen beside this? Absolutely, but I think Honda has gotten this right. I've had 3 of them so far that had the concern, and 3 of them so far afterwards the repair have been successful. So if you had a similar story, or if you think you've had it done and you still feel it, or whatever the case may be, drop a comment down below. So again, we could all stay as informed as possible. So hopefully that answers the question for you. All right, so this next question is about the crankshaft recall. So the wrong bearing sizes and these crankshafts obviously causing catastrophic damage. So if you have a catastrophic damage, or if you have a knock, chances are those engines will get replaced, or at least at minimum the crankshaft with the bearings. In most cases, at least on the Honda side, we are doing just bearings. So we'll do the whole process and then Honda will send us the bearings. They send it to us. They allocate the bearings. They tell us which ones to get. And we have a supply, and we just replenish that supply the next day. So I've done so far 3 of them. I'm pretty sure Monday morning, by the time you see this video, I'll probably have done the next one that I have there. I believe it's on an Odyssey. So hopefully it's just bearings. We haven't done any crankshafts, any short blocks, any long blocks, or anything of that nature. It has just been at bearing inspections. Now, on the Acura side, a lot of them are getting crankshafts replaced. Some of them are getting long blocks, but it's either bearings or crankshafts for a lot of those Acura vehicles. So I know Honda is being aggressive. By Honda, I mean American Honda. So Honda and Acura, especially on the Acura side, since it seems to affect them a lot more. They're being aggressive. They're throwing incentives out there at dealers and technicians. I don't know details, but I just know this is stuff that's happening because obviously they want to try to expedite this as much as possible. But I'll say this again, as I did in my last update on this, that you do not want to rush these technicians. If the car needs to be there a day or 2 or 3, I know it's not ideal, but anytime you're cracking open an engine, especially a bottom end, there's a lot of stuff that could go wrong. So these technicians must not be rushed, because that leaves too much room for error. So obviously the slightest error in a crankshaft bearing replacement, under torquing, over torquing, debris, dust, wrong size, wrong bearing in the wrong place, whatever, it could be catastrophic, and it could only lead to further issues. So obviously if your car spends there a day and then something happens down the road, then you know, that's going to be more downtime for your vehicle. So we have not heard of any catastrophic damages from repairs. As far as I know, I talked to many technicians across the country, and everyone seems to be doing this, and they have their process, they have the procedure, and everything seems to be going as smoothly as possible, just not as quickly as American Honda wants to, but they will get there. So hopefully this process gets expedited as quickly and as safely as possible for everybody. So technicians, dealers, Honda, the consumer, etc. So hopefully that answers the question for you. Next question, I may have answered this a couple months back, I'm not sure, but what is a good way to find a trustworthy and reliable mechanic or technician? So I personally think that word of mouth is still the best way. So you know somebody that knows somebody else that went to a dealer and had a good or a bad experience, or a mechanic shop, you know, or somebody who does a DIY work, or, you know, is a mobile mechanic. 9 out of 10 times, I think that is the best case scenario, because you know that person personally and they went and had a good experience. Now, obviously, you could go on the forums, you could Google and stuff like that. But I will say that 9 out of 10 times, people will only leave a bad review when they had a bad experience. So if that person had 3 or 4 good experiences before that, there's a good possibility that they never left a review anywhere. But the minute that something went south, then they, you know, went ahead and left a bad review. Now, why that situation went south, obviously there's always 2 sides to the story. Sometimes, and most times, it's miscommunication. So try to stay away from Google reviews. Obviously, if there's, 10s, 20, 30 of them, then try to stay away from that place. But if you find a place that's local and you like, and you go there, you have a good relationship with them, you feel like they're being honest, they're being fair with their prices and stuff like that, that's probably the best situation. And talk amongst your community. A lot of times, including here in my town, there's Facebook groups, and they'll ask what's a reliable mechanic in the town, or what's a trustworthy, whatever. And that's a good way to get, honest feedback from people that have had good or bad experiences, without completely, getting a horrible experience that was, posted on a Google or a Yelp review or something of that nature. So hopefully that answers this question for you. All right, and last but not least, question of the week. So low side fuel pump recall update. So this is the one that's been going on for a minute, not the new one that came out, I believe, about a week or two ago for the high pressure side. So that one, we're still at times away from having an update. So as far as this low side pressure pump, Honda is allocating most of them. So they'll send this when you have, a batch. They'll send them for X amount of vehicles. There's still some vehicles that they don't have parts for. I'm not sure what the holdup is, if it's a supplier issue, parts, being able to manufacture those. Maybe they're focusing more on the more common car. I'm not sure, but they are starting to trickle into dealers. So if you have one of these cars that is affected by these, reach out to your local dealer, ask them for a friendly update. I know it's frustrating. We get people all the time just very upset at us coming through the door, and we don't control what Honda sends us. Obviously, Honda is prioritizing vehicles that are disabled. So if you have a car that the fuel pump has completely gone out and it gets towed in, then that gets bumped up to priority list. At that point, we usually get a fuel pump within a couple of days. Sometimes we'll have one in stock for that vehicle. Really depends on a situation. But Honda is starting to send out more and more of these. So hopefully within a couple of months, maybe a month or two, we'll have, as many as we need on a daily basis to get these done in a timely manner. But I know it's frustrating for everybody. It's frustrating for us because we don't have too many answers for the consumer when it comes through the door. And a lot of them will have the same story. Well, I've been waiting for 6, 7, 8, 9 months for a fuel pump. What can I do? And there's not really much to do. Honda is prioritizing, again, the ones that are disabled. So if you can't drive the vehicle or has a code for a low pressure, system, then we're going to prioritize them. By they, I mean, we have to go through our, channels to get the pump approved by American Honda. So hopefully that answers the question for you. I'll try to touch on this again in a couple of weeks or months. If we have a massive update and we're getting them for every car in the meantime, then obviously I'll make a short or something like that, or in a Q&A video just like this one. So hopefully it answers the question for you, and I'll catch you on the next one.